Assalamu alaikum everyone, my name's Farah Halabi and I'm a professional Muslim life coach, and I'd like to ask you, do you put conditions on people? Do you place conditions on yourself? Do you have a conditional or a kind of a policy or rule book that you follow in terms of the way that you deal with people, behave around certain people? And I'll give you an example of this. I was working with a client quite recently who was going through a bit of a challenge, let's just say, in a relationship, a familial relationship, and there were unwritten rules, there were expectations, there were conditions that had been placed subconsciously, not really realizing it, around the way in which this relationship plays out. And it was almost as if there was this almost like tit for tat thing going on. If you're nice to me, I'll be nice to you. If you show me a little bit of consideration, then I'll show you some. If you say hello to me, I'll say hello to you. And the same on the other side as well. If you're going to be crappy towards me, it's coming right back at you. You ignore me, ignore you back. You do things to upset me. You do things to annoy me. You say hurtful words to me. I'm going to do exactly the same thing to you. And all the while, there is this, you're kind of trying to make allowances for the other person, but then coming back to the conditions, the rules, that policy of tit for tat. So even though at some point this client didn't particularly like the way that things were going in that relationship and was waiting, quite literally waiting for the day, all you've got to do is pull your socks up. All you've got to do is be nice to me and I'll be nice to you. All you've got to do is show me a little bit that you're interested in what I've got to say, that you appreciate what I do, that you see, what goes on around you. You see all the things that I have to do for you, that I do for you. And so when we're waiting for this mythical day, this mythical time, this illusionary golden moment where the stars will align and this other person will miraculously see the efforts that my client was bringing to the situation, all the while there's that wait for this magic time, this like aha moment. There was this, I'm not going to do anything then. I'm not going to do it. You don't want to be around me. I don't want to be around you. I don't want to be around you more. It's almost like you're top trumping each other. I don't know if you've heard of the game Top Trumps. It's a game that my children play, and it's pretty much just trying to score trying to get a higher score of something than the opponent by trumping them, by getting more. And I know I've not explained that very well, but look up Top Trumps and you'll know what I'm talking about. But in the situation with my client, it was very much this there were a couple of things that were happening at the same time. There was this cyclical kind of tit for tat kind of, if you're not going to be nice to me, I'm not going to be nice to you. And then it was this, whatever you do to me, I'm going to do more of to you. So no one was really, or I'll go to her, she wasn't ever, or very rarely, behaving in the way that she wanted to. She wasn't really thinking about how she should be acting, wanted to be acting, how she wanted to show up in that relationship. It was all very responsive, but responsive in a way that was very much not serving her. It was pretty much waiting for the other person to do something or not do something, and she was reciprocating that. So there wasn't a lens on the way that this relationship how she wanted this relationship to be. There wasn't a lens on, you know, how there could possibly be a shift or a change. It was very much waiting for the other person to do something or not do something, and then she would respond in kind with the same or more of the same or less of the same, depending on what the situation, depending on what the behaviour was. If it was being ignored, then it was almost like she had to ignore the other person more. Or if it was being spoken to unkindly, then it was a case of, you know, not less unkindly, but actually everything was more. Everything was almost doubling down on the other person's behaviour. And in the midst of that, no one's having a nice time. No one's loving life. No one is enjoying this relationship, not being served by anyone, not being of service to anyone. And perpetuating that is the sense of, but then kind of making allowances. Oh, maybe they're, you know, they're just having a rough day, or they're, you know, they've been hurt in the past, or they don't know any better, or they're old, or they're young, or they're, you know, it's Wednesday, or, you know, they've eaten something dodgy. Then you kind of go to the giving them permissions, allowing it, but then coming back to the root cause of, or to the root thought of, or the root belief, sorry, that they're just not a very nice person. They shouldn't do that to me. You know, I do so much for them. And then you look to the ways in which you do things for them, or in specifically my client, what she was doing for this other person. Like, aren't you grateful? Don't you see what I do? And then that tinged and kind of tainted her behaviour. So if you can pick out a relationship in your life where you have conditions, rules, expectations, which is going to be a lot of relationships, there are expectations. We are by nature people who think. And what is an expectation? It's a thought. It's a thought about how someone should behave or shouldn't behave. It's an unwritten rule. It's something that we would like to happen, or we would like not to happen, or we would like that person to do or not do. But there are certain ways in which we kind of expect, would like, think that other people should just know. And when they don't, we get a little bit cheesed off. But if we do that to the extent where we are no longer then taking account, taking control, taking responsibility, taking accountability for what we do, and we're just responding in kind, then where will that get us? Where does it get you? If you're playing for tit for tat with your husband, with your manager, with your kids, with your parents, with whoever it is around you, with an in-law, with a family member, with a friend even, where does that get you? And what would it look like, or what would change about your behaviour if you just took a step back and thought, how do I want to show up in this relationship? How do I want to be seen as? Who do I want to be seen as? How do I want to be seen in this interaction? What is it that would serve me? What is it that I'm trying to do? What do I want out of this? What's the aim? What's the goal? Am I doing anything to please Allah in this? And there are more questions, I know, than answers, but have you ever asked yourself those questions? And asking yourself those questions, would it change anything about the relationships that you are responding to, rather than navigating and perpetuating and creating the way in which you want to? If you have a relationship in mind right now where you are playing that game of tit for tat, or you're trying to, you know, one up them all the time, and it is not serving you, what would it look like? What would your life look like if that relationship was better? If you were performing, showing up, acting, behaving in that relationship the way that you want, what difference would it make in your life? I'd love to know. Have a think about it. And if you'd like some help to change it, to help navigate it in a different way, in a way that does serve you, in a way that energizes you rather than cheeses you off, in a way that you feel that you would be able to give and gain something from, that you would have a two-way interaction that was mutually beneficial, that you were able to give what you want from a place of not resentment, but from a place of wanting to, from a place of giving without depleting you, giving your time, your energy, your focus, your presence, your kindness, your compassion, in a way that doesn't deplete you, in a way that doesn't make you less than, in a way that pleases Allah. What difference would it make in your life? And if you'd like to know more about how you can do that, and also maybe find out the reasons why you don't, why you're not able to show up in that relationship the way that you want, or why you feel that, you know, if that person was just a bit nicer, if that person just behave differently, if that person was just a bit more positive, if that person was better to you, if that person saw what you did, if that person appreciated you, if that person was just different, then would it be easier for you? If you have felt that about anyone, there is a change that we can bring about. There is a way of helping you navigate that relationship, not with the other person changing, but with you helping to see what choices you do have, what control you do have, what responsibility that you do have, what way in which you can navigate that relationship a bit differently in a way that does serve you. And if you'd like to know how, why don't you message me for a professional chat, a professional consultation, a space to really get clear what's actually going on for you, to help you see a different way forward, to help you understand what the actual problem is, a way of overcoming that problem, and then the support to put into action a new way of being with someone to walk you through it and to be there with you. That's me, by the way, just in case you're wondering who it was. If you are a professional Muslimah and you are struggling, or you have a relationship or a way in which you are showing up in a relationship that you don't particularly like, and that relationship is not serving you and you want it to change but you don't really know how, then message me and inshallah I'll let you know when my next available consultation is. As always, I pray that you are safe, well and happy and healthy, and inshallah I should be on tomorrow for another little chat. But for now, take care. Assalamu alaikum.